Welcome back to Gotham Music Schools. So today we're going to look at the next section of the sticking and zoning idea that we had, which was in the other video where we were just using two pads. So for example, snare and snare with a zone, snare and left tom with a zone, and so on. Check out that other video if you're not sure. Now with that video, all we were doing was hitting two pads, so it was reasonably easy to kind of play things like your quavers, because all we had to do was one and, alright? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the idea of the zoning was to make it easy to invent our own fills and our own rhythms. So if we were playing a beat, it's really easy just to create those little fills in there. They were all using quavers though, just eighth beats. So if we want to take that further, then as in the other video, we could throw in some semi-quavers. So we could go and throw in like semi-quavers on the snare, for example. But what I'm going to do in this video is take it to the next step, which is having 3 beats. Alright, instead of the 2. So what we're doing is we're using the same zoning. So we're going to have the snare with the snare, snare with left tom, we're going to have the floor tom and the left tom, the floor tom and the snare, the ride and the snare, and the hi-hat and the snare. And they're all the zones that we used in the other video too. Like I said, check that one out if you're not sure. So all we're going to do for the third hit is we're just going to add the kick drum. Alright, to every one of those zones. So for example on the snare, it's going to go snare, snare, kick. Alright, snare, snare, kick. Always right, left, and then the kick. So another zone would be snare, left tom, kick. Alright, or we could have the hi-hat. But it's the same every time. Right hand, left hand, kick. Alright, so this makes it a bit more interesting when we start thinking about our rhythms. So if we want to play in quavers, we are going to have to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but we're playing 3 hits. So whereas before we could just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for that one zone, the snare zone, we're now going to have to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that's one great exercise. That's the first one, just using quavers. So make sure you're counting really carefully. Accent the 1 and 3 if you can. They're kind of like the strongest beats generally in what we're playing at the moment. So we could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? So if we're accenting the strongest beats, we're going to try and accent the 1 and 3. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And so on. Alright. If we're doing triplets, then this is pretty easy because a triplet is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so we've got 3 hits, haven't we? So we can just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The next step is going to be semi-quavers. So we're going to count 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a so we've got 4 beats, haven't we, per well, four strikes per beat. So what this means is that again we're playing groups of 3. So groups of 3 don't fit in directly to a group of 4, do they? The same way that it didn't fit into the group of 2 with the quavers. So this time, to get through one beat, we've got to go 1 and a. Okay, so we're going right, left, kick, right. We're then on our left hand for the beginning of 2. 1 and A, 2 and A. Then on a kick for the beginning of 3. 3 and A. And then we're back on the right hand for 4. 4 and A. Okay. Now, this really needs focusing on because you need to accent the beat. So we don't really want every hit the same. 1 and A, 2 and A, 3 and A. Because if I'm not counting, it's quite hard to work out where that beat falls. So where is the 1? Where is the 2? All right, I'll show you. So if I don't accent anything, you can't really hear where the beats are falling because there's no accent. But if I accent the beat, then we can hear where the beats are lying much more clearly. So when you're playing, really accent those beats, accent the 1. 1 and A, 2 and A, 3 and A. Next step is playing that to your click track. So put on your metronome, play that to a click. Start with just your quavers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then go into your triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then go on to your semi-quavers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so just keep working through them. The next step is taking it to the different zones on the drums. So for example, let's do it over here. Let's do it on the floor tom and the snare. So 1 A, 2 A, 3 and 4 and and it starts sounding quite cool then. 1 2 3 and 4 1 2 3 4 1 and so on. All right. This starts sounding really cool again when you start putting it into a beat. So if we're kind of playing a beat. All right, a couple of different variations there, but it starts sounding really, really quite cool as a fill as well, so well worth practicing. All right, have a go at it, play it to your click, take it to the different zones, and yeah, let's see how that sounds. All right, enjoy.